The Last Kingdom tells the tale of Uhtred Ragnarsson, Alexander Draymond, born a Saxon but raised a Dane, placing him between the warring factions for the rest of his life. Uhtred is a great warrior and a man of honor who seeks to bring peace between the Saxons and Danes, and he's constantly caught between the two. The Last Kingdom is a fast-paced, fictional historical drama filled with incredible action scenes, likable and complex characters with some incredible storytelling. It will hook you instantly and not let go. With the final season now on Netflix and a movie on the way, there's no better time to immerse yourself in Uhtred's world. Here are 10 of the best episodes. 10th on the list is Season 5, Episode 7. After the tragic outcome of the battle between King Edward, Timothy Enos, and Sigtryggr, Einstein Sigurdsson, forces, Uhtred's daughter Stiora, Ruby Hartley, is giving a chance to bend the knee to the Saxon king or live free as a Dane. Meanwhile, the conniving Aethelhelm visits a northern enemy and proposes a devious plan to thwart King Edward from his throne. While Uhtred and Brida finally meet again and settle their differences for good, the show truly is at an all-time high in its final season as tensions rise and alliances are forged and broken. Uhtred is of course caught in the middle of it, but so are his children. And this episode makes Uhtred truly realize the consequences of his actions throughout the show and how they impacted Stiora and young Uhtred's entire lives. 9th is Season 5, Episode 9. As the series concludes, it's finally time for Uhtred to fulfill his destiny, retake his ancestral home of Bebbanburg, with King Edward's forces ready to march and eliminate the traitorous Aethelhelm, Adrian Schiller. It's up to Uhtred to find a way inside the fortress and save Lady Aethelwyn. The penultimate episode of the series sets the stage for an epic battle. Both armies are on the move. Plans are being made, as always. It's up to Uhtred to figure out how to win the day, but first, he'll need help from some old friends. 8th on this list is Season 1, Episode 8. The Season 1 finale sees Uhtred and King Alfred, David Dawson, finally coming to an understanding and uniting. As Dane invaders close in on Saxon lands, King Alfred refuses to hide in the marshes any longer and decides to bring the fight to the Danes, leading to a decisive battle that will change the course of England forever. This episode is filled with action, treachery, and heartbreak, as Uhtred must pick a side between the Saxons and the Danes. His decision altered his life for seasons to come. The first finale proved his show would be great for years to come. With an epic final battle and plenty of twists, this episode will leave you yearning for more. Next on the list is the best episodes in Season 2, Episode 4. There's a lot that goes down in Season 2's 4th episode. Uhtred marries his love, Gisela, Perry Baumeister, then quickly joins his brother Ragnar, Tobias Santelman, to fight the Dane brothers Siegfried, Bjorn Bengston, and Eric, Christian Hilborg, in hopes of rescuing Ragnar's sister, Tira, Julia Bashwig. All of this leads to a bloody battle against the warrior, Kjartan, Alexander William, who killed Ragnar and Uhtred's father long ago and enslaved Tira. The midpoint episodes of the Last Kingdom seasons are always game changers. Usually filled with plenty of bloody action, the episodes always switch things up and take the season in a new direction, ending the storyline of the first half, then building on and leading into the next and final half of the season. This episode sees Uhtred and Ragnar finally get revenge for their father in an exciting climactic duel between Ragnar and Kjartan. 6 is Season 4, Episode 10. With Sigtryggr's forces occupying Winchester, King Edward and his forces lay siege to their capital city, but they fail to break through its defenses. Though Uhtred isn't convinced that Sigtryggr truly seeks ultimate conquest and believes the Dane can be reasoned with, meanwhile Uhtred's daughter, Stiora, decides to follow her own path. The Season 4 finale does an excellent job of tying everything up from the past couple of seasons, while still providing enough exciting prospects for Season 5. Uhtred continues to be the mediator of peace between the Saxons and the Danes, even at the cost of his friends and family. Moving on to the 5th on the list is Season 2, Episode 8. As Uhtred continues to help King Alfred and try to gain his trust, he must find a way to save the king's daughter, Aethelflaed, Millie Brady, from the Danes. But Aethelflaed has fallen for one of the Danes, Eric, and plans to flee with him. win. Uhtred must now find a way to help the Lady Aethelflaed while trying to stay in the king's good graces. The season 2 finale is entertaining throughout. As Uhtred tries desperately to save the princess, King Alfred risks his entire kingdom and marches toward the Danes' camp. The Saxons emerge victoriously, and Lady Aethelflaed is saved, but at the cost to Uhtred. The king is now stronger than ever, and Uhtred realizes he is bound to the Saxon and their king. Next is Season 4, Episode 4, The Warmongering Dane Canute, Magnus Brune, and his army of 1,000 Danes seek to capture Lady Aethelflaed. Uhtred and the lady send for help to the Welsh king as they prepare for battle. With Canute and his army growing near and a bloody battle ready to ensue, Aethelflaed fears the battle cannot be won without help from her brother, King Edward. King Edward, nowhere in sight, it's up to Uhtred to battle against Canute and his army. The battle is tense throughout and sets the stage for an exciting second half of the season. The episode is filled with some great acting from the whole cast and paired with an awesome soundtrack that gets the blood pumping. Third, we have Season 3, Episode 9. As King Alfred's last days are upon him, he converses with Uhtred about his plans for his son Edward and his plans for England's future. As well as a pardon for Uhtred, he asks for him to look over Edward. However, Queen Aelswith disagrees with the king's pardon of Uhtred and seeks to stop it. The conversations between King Alfred and Uhtred are one of the biggest highlights of The Last Kingdom. Two men from very different backgrounds and understandings of the world find a kinship with one another. Despite beginning as rivals, in King Alfred's final days, he realizes how important Uhtred was to both him and his kingdom. As we approach the best episode, we have Season 3, Episode 10. After the tragic passing of King Alfred, his son Edward is meant to take the throne. Despite running into difficulties with Alfred's widow, Uhtred holds his promise to the late king and helps Edward ascend to the throne. While the Dane warriors, Canute and Haston, rejoice over the king's passing and assemble an army to attack the Saxons while they're weakened, this finale has, of course, the obligatory epic battle scene. But what shines most in the episode are the characters and their relationships. Uhtred must say goodbye to his old friend and rival, King Alfred, and promises to keep the land safe once he's gone. The dynamic between the two had been one of the more entertaining aspects of the show, brought on by the excellent acting by David Dawson and Alexander Draymond. Finally, the best episode in the series is definitely Season 5, Episode 10. The 5th season of The Last Kingdom has been one of its best. With plenty of action and great character moments, it all leads to one final battle, the Battle of Bebbanburg. With the King of Scots' armies growing near, the impatient King Edward launches his attack on the fortress of Bebbanburg, only to be caught fighting a battle on both fronts. This action-packed finale has everything you want in a series conclusion. An epic battle, villains getting their comeuppance, and a beloved protagonist finally obtaining what he always hoped for. It ties everything up into a satisfying and logical conclusion that makes the entire show worth watching, from beginning to end. Now, as a bonus, The Last Kingdom Season 5 ending explained and how it sets up the sequel movie. While everyone celebrates the victory, King Constantine still tries to negotiate a peace agreement with Uhtred, but sets aside his demands for a while in exchange for King Edward not ruling over Bebbanburg. Although a synopsis hasn't been revealed, we can anticipate that the sequel will address the rising tensions with King Constantine once he decides to confront Wessex again. Even though the King of Wessex isn't at all pleased with the news that Bebbanburg isn't bowing down to him at any time soon, he doesn't counterattack. Instead, he feels betrayed by Uhtred. Given that his father's greatest wish was to unify the kingdoms of England, the warrior goes on to reply that he believes in the future of England, but not one under King Edward's reign. This leads us to already predict the upcoming film could potentially focus on King Edward's bastard, Aethelstan, Harry Gilby, since historically speaking, he will be the first king to rule over all of England. After all, he learned from his mentor to respect both sides and honor their differences. Although there is still much speculation on the events that will take place in The Last Kingdom, Seven Kings Must Die, the series finale sets the tone for an even more climactic ending in the near future. We might go more into this in the near future. Follow to find out. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today. Till next time, cheers.